Marcus Hale had always believed the ocean kept score. Not in storms, not in lightning, not in the obvious violence men respected. It kept score in subtraction. A gull missing from the sky, a buoy drifting where it never had before, a silence that stayed too long. The Northern Light left harbor 3 days after the first whispers started. Crab numbers were falling across multiple sectors. Boats were coming back early. Some captains blamed shifting currents. Others blamed overfishing. A few blamed something they couldn't explain. "Feels wrong out there," one had said at the docks. But Marcus didn't believe in feels. He believed in numbers. But the numbers weren't right either. Tom Beckett had fished longer than Marcus had been alive. His hands were rope and scar tissue. He trusted instinct more than equipment. Caleb Rourke was 26 and still laughed when the deck pitched. And Harris Cole didn't talk much. He watched things, listened. The kind of man who noticed when a sound stopped. They weren't reckless, and they weren't superstitious. But even before clearing harbor, something felt thinned. The birds didn't follow. Gulls always followed. By mid-morning on the first day, the sea went flat. Not calm, like flat. No swell, no chop, no restless motion under the hull. It pressed against the steel like a held breath. Harris stood at the rail. "Feels like we're not moving." The GPS said they were. The wake said they were. But the water had no texture. That night, the sonar flickered once. A low bloom beneath the hull. Then nothing. Moisture. Marcus didn't argue. But he didn't believe it either. On the second day, the first traps came up light. The second lighter. The third nearly empty. Not scavenged, not crushed, just untouched. The bait still wired inside. And then they found the bent cage. Steel bars bowed outward, not in one spot, in 4, evenly spaced from the inside. Tom stared longer than he should have. Big One tried to push through. Harris said nothing. That night, the tapping began faintly from beneath the hull. They stepped onto the deck. The sea reflected the stars so clearly it felt like standing between two skies. The tapping came again. Marcus leaned over the rail. There was something below. Not splashing, not circling, holding position. A darker density under the reflection. On the third day, the heavy trap strained the winch hard enough to make the deck hum. The cage surfaced slow, water streaming off of it. It bulged outward once, then again. Not frantic. Testing. A claw emerged, black, layered like old seabed rock. The pincer closed around steel, snapped it clean. Not violently, deliberately. The creature unfolded from the trap, 4 feet tall when it stood. One eye clouded, the other focused, tracking. Caleb stepped back too late. The claw caught him around the waist. A crack like splitting timber. The rail bent outward. Caleb disappeared. No long scream. No violent splash. Just water parting, then smoothing. Beneath it, movement. Layered. Organized. They killed the engine. The hum stopped. The shadows moved closer. Dozens of them, clinging to the hull. suspended in vertical layers, anchored against steel. Not frenzy, formation. The largest surface just enough to break tension. Scarred shell, one hollow eye socket. The remaining eye fixed on Marcus. Not hungry, assessing. The tapping traveled along the hall. Call, response, mapping, testing density, finding stress points. The first lift came slowly. 2 degrees, 3. Ropes slid. Then the hull dropped flat again. Testing weight. The second lift came sharper. 5 degrees, 7. Crabs anchored port and starboard, redistributing mass. Harris tried restarting the engine. The roar vibrated through steel. For a moment, the shadows shifted outward. Then the largest crab moved beneath the propeller shaft. The vibration dampened, not fleeing, calibrating. Marcus killed the engine. He understood now. The boat wasn't resisting. It was broadcasting. Every vibration a signal, every hum a location marker. They tightened the circle. Anchored at structural points, lifted again. 10 degrees, 15. Equipment slid across the deck. Tom braced against the railing. "These aren't feeding," he said quietly. "They're culling." The final alignment came without tapping, without warning. 4 anchoring points, simultaneously push. The deck tilted past recovery, 20 degrees, 30. The emergency raft inflated. Tom slipped. A claw punched through the deck near him. Not striking, anchoring. A second claw closed around his torso. Held, stabilized, withdrew. Tom vanished. The tilt passed 40, then 50. The largest crab adjusted beneath the bow and pushed. The northern light rolled. Cold swallowed steel. Marcus fell sideways into black water. The raft righted itself. He clawed into it. The boat sank beneath him. The crabs stabilized its descent. Controlled drop. Energy conservation. Efficiency. The circle reformed around the raft. Wide. Measured. The largest surfaced once more. Single eye fixed on Marcus. Not mercy. Calculation. He was no longer attached to structure. No longer vibrating through water. No longer worth energy. After a long, still moment, the crab sank. The others followed. The sea flattened as if nothing had happened. After, the Coast Guard found Marcus near dawn. Hypothermic, repeating one sentence. They stopped biting. The report cited hull stress, weather anomaly. No anomalous marine activity detected. The season collapsed. Crab populations vanished. Traps came back untouched. Bait intact. Cages pristine. Dock workers began finding scrape marks on hulls. Parallel grooves, always at the same height above the waterline. Fishermen in tidal flats found molted shells larger than truck tires. No official statement followed. Marcus moved inland, far from tide. But late at night, when the house cooled, when pipes contracted, he sometimes heard it. That clicking sound. He understands now. They didn't empty traps because they were starving. They emptied them because they adapted. Food scarcity shifts behavior. Vibration leads to structure. Structure leads to stability. And stability leads inland. The ocean doesn't hate you. It doesn't care. But evolution doesn't stop at the shoreline. It follows opportunity. And when the water goes flat, when the birds stop circling, when the traps come back untouched, it won't mean they're gone. It will mean they've stopped reacting and started selecting. And when the tapping begins again, it won't be under a hull. It'll be under pilings, under docks, under foundations. And this time, there won't be an ocean between you and what adapted. If you're still listening, check the water next time it goes quiet. If you enjoyed tonight's story, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next descent into the darkness. Leave a comment and tell me, what would you have done when the tapping started? And until next time, good night.